Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Castro from DMW Comics. This is Castro's Comic Corner, and I'm coming to you, well, maybe not live, but definitely recorded and awesome with Matt Knowles. We got John Westhoff, we got Kevin Davis, and Greg Moquin. We're going to be talking about our campaigns, our comic books, our art, our writing, whatever we can, and we're going to do it right here for you guys. So, Greg, tell us where you are, where you're from, who you what, when, why, and all that good stuff.
That's too many questions.
Come on.
Greg Moquin of Supernova Comics, writer, creator of a million different comics. I got Night Watch on pre-launch right now, which is our Vigilante series. So that's me.
Awesome, man. Kevin Davis, you're new to the show. I know you don't have a live campaign, but I know you have some comic books in the works, and I am all about promoting new indie authors and artists. So tell us where we can find you. What's going on with you?
Well, my name's Kevin Davis. Right now, I have my website up. You can go to keviside.com. And you can find me on Instagram at I am Kevin Davis Official or Facebook at I am Kevin Davis CEO. And I've been an author for about 3 years now. This is my third year so far. So yeah.
Heck yeah, man. And I wish you all the best, man. We're gonna get into your stuff, man. I promise. John Westhoff, he's the man. If you guys don't know this dude, he's a legend.
Hardly. A legend in my own mind, maybe. I'm John Westhoff, the writer, letterer, publisher for Part-Time Comics. I've written such comics as Bulletproof Chicken and Drumsticks of Doom. And our current campaign, LCS, is live now about the last comic shop on Earth.
Now, the Drumsticks of Doom have nothing to do with the chicken, right?
We get that a lot, and we definitely need to do some sort of crossover because people make that when they see the books on the table, they're like, "Oh, drumstick." We could do a crossover if enough people request it.
There you go.
Matt
Knowles, man. Tell us what's up with you, Matt Knowles.
I just had like the worst idea for like a 1 or 2 page comic, where you get Drumsticks of Doom and it's completely wrong. You go in and somebody just orders like a combo meal. It's rotten chicken. And the rest of the thing is they're just sitting on the toilet, just in utter agony from eating the Drumsticks of Doom.
Oh, probably sell better than the book currently. Yeah.
That sounds like a stretch goal for the next one. Get us up to $15,000. Anyways. My name is Matt Knowles.
That's going to be a bestseller.
That's right. My name is Matt Knowles. I'm one half of Symmetry Creations, most known for our title Heirs of Isildur, where steampunk comics and metal collide. Tales from Nocturnia, I Am Keto, the upcoming Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress. But right now we have a campaign for our insane, silly, all ages book, Misfits Clubhouse, all the shenanigans so far that we are super stoked about, and we are really happy to finally get this collected edition of everything that we've ever done for it, including a whole bunch of brand new stuff out there into your hands.
Awesome.
That's what's up, man. So I want to take it back to Greg. Greg, Tell us about Night Watch. What is it all about? What can we expect? And when is it launching?
It's launching on my birthday, April 2nd, because it's me if I was a vigilante / MMA fighter. Which I'm not. No. So yeah, he retires as being an MMA fighter, and then he is trying to figure out who actually killed his best friend. So this the first plot arc is a 3-issue plot arc, and I already have so much planned out for this series. If you like Daredevil, you're gonna like Night Watch. If you like Batman in a sense, you'll like Night Watch.
You got me a Daredevil.
Yeah,
but he's not blind.
Yeah, we have a mutual friend who actually drew this for you, correct, Mr. Fish Lee?
Yes.
Oh, nice!
Wow,
yeah, awesome.
That's what's up.
He lettered it. He did all this stuff.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the guy's a legend, and I'm telling you guys, if you haven't, this is for the audience. If you guys don't know who Mr. Fish Lee is, go to MrFishLee.com and check his stuff out, man. The guy is one of the fastest drawers in the comic book industry, especially the indie scene, and he is fantastic. at art, and he's a really good guy. So I love having him on the show whenever he does get a chance. So please go check out Mr. Fish Lee and check out Night Watch, because I guarantee it's going to be amazing. Because if you guys have ever wanted to see Greg Moquin run around beating the shit out of mafia guys
Or
with
possibly getting
sticks,
the shit beat out of him.
this is the place to go, man. So awesome. Night Watch, it's going to launch on April 4th,
Second.
right? April 2nd. Okay.
April Fools.
You don't want to be an April Fool.
Well, yeah, April 4th is actually my wife's birthday. So
Oh.
That's what's up.
I always go, oh, happy birthday. Oh, April Fools.
Oh man.
No. So let's see. Kevin Davis, I'm going to pull up your website, and you can explain to us a little bit about what you do and what you to expect from you, because I expect great things from you, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Let's see, entertainment. All right, there you go. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You're a writer, correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
Awesome. So what series do you have coming out? What kind of things are you working on right now?
My first series is Arcfire. That was my debut when I got into comics. The way I explain it is, if you like stories like Stranger Things, mixed with like a mix of superhero-ish, but it's more on the horror side. I call it Arcfire because it was a random name that popped in my head.
I mean, it's a good name. It's definitely a good name.
And I kind of base the character on myself a bit, because he's trying to figure out who he is. Because his name is Cathedral Arcfire. He doesn't know where he's from because he wakes up in a cocoon in the science lab, and he's confused, like trying to figure out what his power is, where he's from, if he has any other family, and he's on a race to find out his heritage, basically, and get his memory back and figure out how the heck he got to Earth, because he's not from Earth. I'm going to say that.
Okay. Yeah, don't give away too much, man.
Yeah, but I have about 15 issues in my head I'm working on for Arcfire.
It's going to have like a definitive end.
Yes, I don't. I'm not the type of person that want to draw out stuff. Like, I want to, because stuff gets drawn out way too much at times.
Yeah.
So I'm like, my number is between 15 and 20, depending on how far I want an arc to go, to make sure it makes sense and not too much, and not too little at the same time.
Completely understand that.
Yeah, so my number is about 15, 20 issues.
See, I'm doing Bad Wabbit series, and people are like, "Oh, you can keep this going forever. It's great." And I'm like, "No, I actually have a definitive end. It's going to be about 20, 21 issues, and then when it's over, it's over." But that's not to say that we can't do spinoffs and
Exactly.
stuff.
I will also do spinoffs at some point, or when Arcfire gets deeper into the lore, before I do spinoff, because I want every character to be important.
Yeah.
And I want people to get to know the characters and potentially relate to the characters.
Man, I like that. What is this?
And I recently just published a friend of mine. That's her first book. I just debuted her novel.
That gives me nightmares on so many levels.
It's really good. Yeah. And the story is just really fantastic. And it was an honor she allowed me to publish her. And now her book is actually in distribution now online. And so it's on the way to other retailers right now.
Great.
Well, I want to just direct everybody towards Keviside. Go check it out, keviside.com. That is Kevin Davis. Man, dude, I gotta look at it one more time, because that is so creepy. Like,
who did that cover? That's a great cover.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, one of my
Yeah.
friends, he did the pencil and ink, and my other artist did the coloring.
Well, you
Yeah.
got a good team there, man, and I hope you guys go far. And again, like I said, this show is not all about just campaigns. This is about lifting up other indie creators. And so, if you ever want to come back and show us how it's going with all that cool stuff, I'm definitely down to have you on, man.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Next one is Mr. Matt Knowles. Tell us about Misfits Clubhouse, man.
All right, so Misfits Clubhouse. Think about movies like Goonies. Think about watching Saturday morning cartoons. Think about how much fun you had just watching stuff like Toy Story or whatever it may be. That is what Misfits Clubhouse is. You have got 96 pages, 10 stories of all the most ridiculous shenanigans we have ever created for the Misfits, which is all of them because they all are ridiculous. You've got one of the things we're known for things like doing socks. The 8th different pair of socks that we've created is in this campaign.
I know there's a picture here somewhere.
Yeah, to get on a little bit farther, and you can actually stop right there on one of the covers because one of the covers went with a Slothy and Fairy looking like they're ready to go win the rap battle. That's actually the sock. That is actually the socks for this campaign.
Nice.
The two of them in their little pose. That's Slothy and Fairy, two of the 4 main characters. That's actually what the socks are for this campaign.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love
You
the
got me,
artwork too.
you got me at Toy Story, so I'm definitely backing.
I think you're gonna dig it. Like I said, there's 96 pages of it's 10 short stories, things from Pinball Madness where they get trapped in a pinball machine and have to play their way out. Morty McFeathers is missing, where their clubhouse mascot is missing, and they find out where he's been and what's been going on with him. You've also got the kids being able to sit down and watch their favorite episodic adventure show, which is Bruce McTutherson, Aquatic Investigator. Think about how the Cosby kids would run back to the clubhouse to watch the Brown Hornet. That's exactly what you've got with Misfits Clubhouse and Bruce McTutherson.
And I see you got the sketch cover. That's actually something I've been inquiring into is the sketch covers. I've got 4 books being on this one and on this Kickstarter that I'm doing, and I didn't want to do a sketch cover just for one book, because if I do 4 tiers of 4 books with blank covers,
I think if you're going to get someone to sketch, though, you're probably issue 1's usually the one that people want. Either to collect or get sketched on. So that's usually the target. Even if it's in a later campaign, maybe people come back and they're like, oh, cool, I have someone draw on this. I mean, Matt, you're doing it for a trade. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
And here's the thing, because this is 96 pages, we've done single issues of Misfits before. We've done coloring covers, but we've never had a point where we actually did the coloring cover for the trade. And so this is the first time we've done a sketch cover for Misfits. We've done a sketch cover for Tales from Nocturnia. We did a regular white sketch cover for the first arc for Heirs of Isildur. Then we did a reverse black sketch cover for Heirs of Isildur, The Perilous Prospects. So we wanted to make sure there was at least something on this one. I mean, it is 96 pages. It is outside the realm of normalcy to have a sketch cover for this, but we've done 48-page perfect bound books. We have our 48-page perfect bound Heirs of Isildur reverse sketch cover that people seem to like. So that's why this isn't like 500 pages. It's not like some giant book. It's only going to be 96. So it's still going to be like almost comic size. So we're like, we'll do it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, but I think it's a really good idea because, especially if you're going all ages, the pitch is draw your own cover. Have fun with it. Personalize your book that you just picked up, or maybe it becomes someone's favorite book and they want a second copy that they can,
that
feel
would
like
be really cool.
I think it never
As
occurred
a kid,
to me, but
that'd
really
be cool.
Yeah.
I was telling,
that'd be cool, right?
Yeah, I mean, even as an adult, yeah. But like I was telling Matt and them on Travis's show, it's like my youngest son is like so inspired by the fact that I make comic books that he actually goes and he will take sheets of paper and staple them together, and he will make his own comic books and do like the inking, the pencil, lettering, everything. And I'm just so like impressed by that. I mean, he's 10, so I mean, it's not like it's the most fantastic, everything, but the fact that he's that interested in it to do that kind of stuff. I guarantee he would love to get like a cover of something as awesome as the Clubhouse, and just like be able to draw his own thing and based on the book. I mean, it's fantastic. It's a great idea. I personally am just thinking I might wait until the next Kickstarter, because on the next Kickstarter we're going to actually do books 1 through 5, which is leaves off on a very good stopping point for the series. You know, it's like you get to find out with what Wabbit's purpose is, and then you can go into the next 5 or 6 books, whatever. But it's going to be awesome. So I think I'm going to wait until the next Kickstarter and do a blank cover trade.
That sounds like fun.
It's going to be
Are you
fun.
going to do the trade and issue 5 at the same time, or have you gotten that far?
Yeah, we're going to do the trade and the 5 at the same time. So you're going to be able to get each comic by themselves, but then we're going to offer the 5-book trade with the hardcover, and then the 5-book trade with the blank cover, and you guys can take your pick.
Nice.
So
if you scroll up on here, one of the covers that we have, that normally your cover A is going to be the one that people are going to gravitate towards the most. So just go right above that one. Go one more right there.
oh, yeah.
That one, the Mario Kart homage we've got. So Emily Reset, who is making her name for herself teenage artist that's in this area, and done a lot of stuff for Travis Gibb and his anthologies. This is now the third cover she's done for us across our different titles. And on this one, we wanted to have a Mario Kart homage, Mario Kart on Rainbow Road. And she had the idea of making sure that our characters, I mean, I wanted to have Stig as, Super Mario. So it's a Super Stig that's in there. But then she was the one, she was like, I've got to go in and combine all the other characters. So Ferry, who's always wearing his red hoodie, became Ferry the Red Shell. You've got our character in the background, which is Captain Bluebeard. She wanted to turn him into Drybeard. Dry Bone. So I'm like, well, clearly we have now to have Drybeard. so that's our main characters, a couple of background characters. So you have, obviously, that's Bruce McTutherson, aquatic investigator, as Birdo. So you also got Fritz Rhubarb, who's one of the bully boys, who always are having an issue with our misfits. Back over there as he's
Bowser.
Yeah, he's Bowser. So we got Fritzer back there.
Slothy is Toad, and Toad is my favorite Mario character.
So you got Slothy, and then you got Miki, who's Princess Meeks instead of Princess Peach. Yeah. So yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. And so because Emily has done 3 different covers for us, we actually have 2 different variations of tiers. We have the Emily Reset tier, which has got all 3 of her covers, 2 for Misfits, 1 for Airs, and then the Emily Reset tier Ultra, which has got the 3 covers, and then 1 that was done as a metal cover is in the tiers as well.
Nice. Yeah, and that's why I didn't see the sketch cover, because once I saw Emily's cover, I kind of stopped looking. I was like, all right, this is the one I want. That one's, it's just, like you said, you've worked with her before, and she's done a couple stories with me as well, and it just cool to see you guys find the right thing to pair her up with. This is such a perfect combo of your book and her style, and it's just perfect.
Yeah, we're working on the cover, which she just did the homage cover for Alice in Wonderland Through the Looking Glass for Heirs of a Seal to the Perilous Prospects 4. And we actually did a live event, and she was just wrapping that up. And I was like, what do you think about the art style for like Mario Kart? And she was like, that's my favorite. I mastered that. I'm like, well, guess what? I'm like, we've got a Mario Kart homage we want to do, and you sound like the right person to do that. And she was like, yes. This says she was so excited.
That's awesome. I love when you get an artist
to win. Yeah.
I love when you get an artist that's excited about the stuff you're asking them to do, because it makes it so much better.
For sure.
Big time. She's got a very supportive family structure as well. Her dad is very involved in what she does and in the business side of what she does. And they've both shared our stuff as much as anybody. So you see Pete Reset, Emily Reset, they're sharing the stuff like that. He's very involved in making sure that, he's not just one of those passive people. Let me get in the project, and then you never see his name again. If Emily's involved, Pete is going to be sharing that stuff out like crazy.
Heck yeah, man. See, that's awesome, dude.
It's very
this is what it's all about, man. Geez, I love it. That's awesome. So, LCS 1 and 2, a post-apocalyptic comic about comic collecting. And you know what? I tried to explain this comic to my mom, who's like 78 years old, and I was like, "No, it's about these guys who go through the apocalypse and then collect really awesome comic books." And she was just like, "I don't get it. Why would you risk your life to go and collect comics in the post-apocalypse?" And I was like, "Because you love comics. You don't understand. It's like a noble cause."
She's not the target audience. She doesn't get it, right?
No.
Right.
Dude, it's a noble cause for where I'm sitting.
Oh, man.
Matt has already heard my spiel on another show, so he can check out for a minute. But
yeah, you guys were on Ed's earlier. I was
that's
watching.
right. So essentially, again, the short pitch is it's a series of global catastrophes has left life on Earth decimated and made comic collecting a huge disaster. We all think we'd be rescuing our relatives and, fighting for the cure for the disease that has ravaged the earth and all those things. But just like you said, Anthony, we'd be thinking about what's that key issue I missed, or what's that toy that I really want to get? Hey, my neighbor had this cool, whatever. I better break into their house and get that. That's what I'd be thinking about.
Number one.
It's only a 2-issue series right now, but there does leave room for more stories. We definitely have more stories in this universe. My co-creator and who I really should shout out, the star of the series, is Winston Gambro. He does all the art and coloring. I do the writing and lettering. So we're a two-person team on this. We got my buddy Ray Wegner to do a cool variant cover here. But Winston is somebody I've known in the comic scene. Like Matt was saying about Emily, we've worked on some smaller projects together, and I read a couple of his books, and he's just an amazing creator. He definitely does not need a writer on a series, but I asked him, do you have any room in your schedule? Would you like to work on something? And I gave him kind of that short pitch, like I said, and he was super into it. And boy, with the colors and the art and just what he brings to the story, I have so many more ideas just looking at his amazing art. He's been such a blessing for the series. And again, I hope that this one can succeed, because again, even though it says the end here, it's definitely just the end of this chapter. We've got way more stories to tell, so we're very excited to see the support. The first week or so has been great on Kickstarter, and it looks like people are excited, because again, I love post-apocalyptic fiction, but there's such a reverence to it. There's such an intimidation to stepping into that realm and trying to step into the shoes of somebody like Cormac McCarthy or something like that. Like, I'm never going to write the road. But what can I write? I can write comedy pretty well. So I kind of took this silly premise. But there is a lot of heart to it. It's hopefully more about the characters, and you'll get to know them. Yes, it's about them running the last comic shop, but you want to know about what happened to them before the fall of mankind and where they're at now, and how their relationships work and everything. So as much as I pitch that bigger story about comic collecting, I hope that people, get connected to the characters like you all were saying. These stories are about
understand. No, I completely understand, because like I said, like Bad Wabbit's gonna have a lot of flashbacks, so you can see who these characters are, where they come from, what drives them, what their purpose in that world is, and who they want to be. And if you have anything like that in this, then I'm totally in, man, because I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I hope people seemed pretty excited about the twist of the first issue. So that was exciting to get a lot of feedback. Probably July last year we put out the first issue, so now we're back for issue 2. And then again, how this series does will tell us, that people are interested or not, and then we'll hopefully have some more one shots and other mini series with this universe in the future.
Heck yeah, man, that's really awesome, man. And the concept itself is just really awesome, because like I know a lot of comic book people. I didn't know if you guys knew that, but I could see some of them literally doing this, and just like the world's gone to shit. It's I ain't got no rules. I don't have a job. I ain't got nothing else to do. What would I want to do with my whole existence at this point? It's like I'm gonna go find some really badass comic books, and I'm gonna definitely put them on my shelf.
Right?
Hell yeah!
I can finally get that Amazing Fantasy 15 for free.
I mean, I could like One of the comic books I've always wanted to get was Superman 1, the very first one, Action Comics, I think
Action
it was.
Comics,
Yeah, and I want to get one of the original prints. So it's like I can never afford that.
Yeah, I think a .5 recently sold for like $1 million.
Yeah, exactly.
It looked like it had been through a wood chipper.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, that's such a good concept because I would totally go. And like I had put a comment earlier in the last one, your Davis show. I said the Anarchist Cookbook. I don't know if you guys were raised with that. I don't know if you guys know about that, but it's illegal now. You can't buy it in the U.S. But it was a book.
wow.
When I was a kid, it was in comic book stores, and I would go in there and read it, and it taught you how to make all kinds of crazy shit, zip guns, explosives, all that stuff with just like household materials. And I read that thing from front to back at least 10 times. So I mean, it was a great book, but you can't get it now. It's
you would think with the internet being the internet that people would be like, okay, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Everything that's in that book can you find on the internet anyway.
Exactly.
So why do you got to ban the book?
Yeah.
Right.
It's one of them things, man. They do it.
But hopefully, with more stories in that universe, we can get to the part of, kind of like what your grandmother said, like people don't understand collecting, and maybe there's something about our personalities that we would risk our lives and fight across this hellish landscape to get that favorite comic to collect for ourselves when there's nobody around to show it to. Like I think some of the subtext I'd like to get into about this hobby that we're all so heavily involved in.
No shit, man. I'm telling you, man. Like people don't understand our love for this.
Well, the guys on Ed's show started talking about Legos. I started jotting down ideas for a future arc, us Lego collectors, and why are we so obsessed with paying hundreds of dollars to put something together by directions? Because we love it.
So I'm gonna go
All
to my little
right.
So this is Bad Wabbit 1 through 4. Bad Wabbit is a post-apocalyptic dystopian world where Bad Wabbit himself is a burnt-out drunk. The world has gone to shit to the point where like there's pollution, there's radiation, there's all kinds of stuff, and animals have morphed into humanoid creatures, anthropomorphic creatures. Humans are pretty much extinct. If I'm not alluding to any future issues, but if there was a human, they would be totally like an obscure rarity. So, but basically, it's ran. The world is ran by the Penguin Empire. Think the Empire, Star Wars. They rule everything. And Bad Wabbit doesn't give a shit. He just wants to be by himself and live his own life. And he gets kind of drug into an adventure, which the initial thing that like gets him on this adventure really has nothing to do with his actual purpose. But that's what this point is about. Like the books 1 through 4 and even 5, it's leading up to all that. But 1 through 4 lets you get the world, it lets you get the characters, you get emotionally attached to each one, and I think it's going to be an awesome series. I've been told multiple times that this would be like a great what is it, Adult Swim kind of cartoon.
Oh, nice. That's what's up.
And I mean, I've been told this so many times. It's like, yes, I want to make it a cartoon, but I can't afford it. It's like freaking $1 million. But I would. I would. If someone was like, hey man, I got like 20 mil. Let's do it. I'd be like, hell yeah. Because that's how I write it. I write it as an ongoing series. Each book goes into the next one. And I try to give kind of like, the old serials where like last time on Flash Gordon, we, and I try to give one of those kind of intros to each book. So you're not completely lost.
I think that's good. I think more people, especially in indie comics, because sometimes there's a few months between issues. You know how it goes, and
exactly.
A recap is a very helpful way to get people back.
I mean, it was literally a year between 1 and 2, and they were actually written at the same time. So it's like,
let me tell you, John and I are definitely channeling the same metal brethren mindset today, because I was thinking exactly the same thing. When you're talking Kickstarter, where you're talking about months apart, and one of the things that I've had to do a better job with, Steph and I've had to do a lot of better jobs with, is treating every issue as if that issue might be the first time somebody has ever read an issue from you. Somebody who's a returner, you don't need to go market to them about the fact that what's going to be in this upcoming issue. They're going to come back and read that thing if they really like the one before. But if you're somebody that's just hearing about Bad Wabbit when it's issue 5, they still need that pitch. They still need the ability to understand, how can I get into issue 5 and still enjoy this one issue? So yeah, we do the same thing. We'll put, pretext before the issue starts, subtext at the end of the issue, so that way there's at least enough for them, in that issue to be able to enjoy it without needing anything else. So good stuff there.
Yeah. I've been told so many things about Bad Wabbit that it's kind of just, I take everything with a grain of salt. But because I'm the kind of person that expects the worst, so that if it does happen, I'm not disappointed. But I've been told a lot of good things about Bad Wabbit, and one of them was that it's going to be a cult classic. And I honestly, like, looking back at it and knowing where it's going, I really think it will be. So I'm hoping that everybody can get on board. Go, even if you drop like $5 on a digital copy, I'm happy, because I want people to, it's that taste, get that first issue. I guarantee you're going to want to know where it goes after that. So
yeah, and you've got catch-up tiers. That's always helpful, as you build up fans and readers. So I was lucky enough for you to send me the first issue, and it's super fun, high action. I'm a sucker for the reluctant hero type of trope, so that was easy. You had an anthropomorphic animals, and you haven't even mentioned the best character in the book, and that's Toxic Pig.
Everybody loves him.
Toxic Pig.
Everybody.
We're gonna have to do some sort of LCS Bad Wabbit crossover with them, but
he's everybody loves him. But I understand why. It's because everybody loves that character that takes the main character further. When the main character is at its wit's end, he's done. He's like, man, I don't even want to go anymore, and you got that one character, and I always call him the Sam Wise of the series, because he is definitely Bad Wabbit's Sam Wise. He's like, dude, Wabbit, I believe in you even if you don't believe in yourself. He's like, we can do this, and he picks him up and he's like, let's go, let's do this, let's get it done. You can do it. And I think everybody needs somebody like that in their life. And I think it's so relatable when you have a character that literally does not want to do this damn thing that he is picked by destiny to do, And
honestly, he's just such a perfect design by you and Tommy Gunn's just a pig in a gas mask is like such a arresting. Like, it made me stop when I first saw it, like, who is this guy? And then you realize he's like the little sidekick running around and being a wacky, it's cool. And I'm only saying all these nice things in hopes that you'll put that Toxic Pig variant in my bundle package, because
well, and you know what though, to be completely honest as well, I think that there are, if you look at indie comics, probably the two most utilized animals or creatures are sharks and rabbits. There are a lot of rabbit titles, and that doesn't mean that one is, we work closely with Stabby Bunny, so there's a lot of them that are out there. So it almost becomes, at your point, what is it about your comic? What is it about your bunny that can stand out from the others, so that way people can be like, okay, well, there's a lot of bunny comics out there. Why do I want to go get this one? Like you're saying, if John is over here ready to do a headstand about Toxic Pig, maybe Toxic Pig becomes another thing that you can help. Like when we wrote Misfits, we didn't think Bruce McTutherson, Aquatic Investigator, was going to be as big of a deal as he is.
The best part.
But he's like one of the breakout characters. He's not even a misfit, and he's one of the breakout characters. So if you've got something like that, you kind of need to run with it. That's, I'm not saying you need to run with them. I'm saying that's the kind of stuff to do, is if you've got a character that breaks out, run with them and see where you can go with it.
And we had the same thing happen with Drumsticks of Doom. Argyle, the hybrid between a spider and an alligator, the arachnigator. Everybody loved the hell out of it. Now we do these, we've done little plushies, and he was co-designed by my daughter, like you were mentioning earlier, Anthony, about your kids liking it.
Yeah.
She wrote his whole origin story. I have it here.
That's awesome.
She stapled her own thing. So I'm like, oh, he's got to go in the book now. Because I was just kind of joking with her, like, hey, would you design a spider alligator for my book? And she was all about it. And when's Dan going to draw it? And is it going to be in the book? And
John, when did Arachnigator actually come into the lore of
so he actually didn't appear until issue 3.
I was going to say, because
probably about a year and a half in, so we kind of added him. We needed like that, like you said, that sidekick, that something different for the universe,
Because we did a crossover. We did John and I for I think it was for Heirs of Isildur and Drumsticks of Doom earlier on. We did a crossover. We did a cool metal trading card crossover together, and I totally read the issues, that kind of stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's our crossover stuff there, and I'm like, I don't remember Arachnigator being in this at all. I'm like, when did I miss this? So when you started doing Arachnigator, I was completely confused because I'm like, was this a hidden character or something like that?
Dude, that's freaking badass.
I mean, we knew we were going to have like hybrid creatures or something in this world where heavy metal was real and took over the earth. And it was just the perfect way. And then again, now it's like a connection with my daughter and I. She comes and tables with me and she sells her little stuffies. And then she says,
cool,
don't I get the money because I co-created it? And I'm like, see, you're a smart businesswoman too. You got to negotiate your deal. But no, you don't get any money because you did not sign a contract.
But she can still go sue Disney. That goes back to the conversation before, about the crazy Disney Plus contracts.
Yeah, I mean, it's always cool to have that character, and like I said, I didn't expect Toxic Pig to be this character that everybody was like, oh, he's the greatest, and it wasn't in my thoughts. I was making him just honestly, when I first started writing Bad Wabbit, I wanted Toxic Pig to be that smart ass, wisecracking character, but then I realized that's Bad Wabbit. So to have Bad Wabbit and Toxic Pig being both the same character, it just didn't work out. And then Toxic Pig started kind of writing himself, because I would look at Toxic Pig and think, man, he's such a cute little good dude, and he's so friendly, and like, why would he be like that? And then it just became like, he was this like, I believe in you, Wabbit, it's all good, And I was like, yeah, that's who he is, man. And I'm really excited to see where he goes from there. I do have some spinoffs planned. Space Monkey. From the first issue, I'm planning on doing a spinoff of him in space, actually doing like Buck Rogers type adventures, and then Foxy Fox, I'm hoping that we can do some pirate adventures with her. And then when the series is finished, I would like to go around and do kind of like a collaborative fundraising kind of anthology where I have multiple authors write their own stories within the Bad Wabbit universe, because because right now all we're seeing from Bad Wabbit is what he's seeing. That's it's a very linear, this is my mission, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm going, but there's so much more in that universe, and I made it specifically to be able to do anything. I mean, there's dragons, there's fairies, there's steampunk, there's anything that you can imagine basically is happening somewhere in that universe, and I want to be able to like highlight that kind of stuff. It's going to be really cool.
Sounds cool.
That's what's up.
Got to get through this campaign though, people. So plunk down.
Yeah,
bro. Well, I just backed your campaign in a Clubhouse campaign.
Awesome, man. I appreciate everything, man. Like,
I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
The Kickstarter thing has bing hard lately for a lot of creators. Greg, what has been the number one thing that you have run into as far as like trying to promote media, anything like that? Like what has been the holdback for you?
Well, so we were doing a campaign for our book, The Seer Chronicles, and then that we canceled that. that story was like all over the place. So, and I like had a feeling about that like for a while. So we canceled that in February, and then we like shelved the series. So we're restructuring it, and now it's going to be the third issue of that is actually the first issue of Fireproof. So
Okay.
because it just works out like that. That's like how I wrote it. So it's a good first issue, and all the faces look how they should look, not like how our first issue was, and just stuff like that. Other little things. Yeah, so that didn't do at all how I thought it was going to do on Kickstarter.
Hey, my last one failed, so it happens.
But if it had a cat in it from space, then it would do amazing.
I mean, you didn't put mittens in it. That's your downfall.
Yeah, I sold almost all of my plushies when I was at that Indie Creator Con.
Wow.
They're like, this is so cute. I'm like,
you should at least put on the top of every comic from the creators of Mittens.
Yeah, exactly.
In the
Mittens,
kind of.
Because of your Toxic Pig, actually, is how I came up with a new.
Where is he?
Are you gonna find him? Yeah. So because of Toxic Pig, I am now gonna have barnyard animals in the next plot arc for Mittens.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
There he is.
Awesome.
There he is.
That's
So,
freaking awesome.
Yeah, these Toxic Pig things are so. I showed my mom one for the first time last night, and she was like, "Oh my god, that's how good!" I was like,
You'll be good.
Yeah, if I can mass produce these without having to pay $350 for 3, then I would totally do it. I'm thinking about shrinking them half the size, and then trying to find somebody to like do it in mass production. And I think that it would work out, especially at cons if I ever get to do one. I have yet to do one.
I had the Mittens and Griff plushies on the table, and then the first girl came up to the table, and she's like, "Are these like the only ones you have?" I'm like, "It's the only panda we have, but there's Mittens. There's a bunch of them in the tote." She's like, "So if I buy that, you're gonna have another one?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, okay." I just felt bad, like if I was gonna buy the other one. I'm like, "No, you'd be cool because you would be the only one that has it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a backer of mine. He was like, put the Toxic Pig on there. I'll get that tier. I'll get it. And I was like, dude, this one pig cost about $175.
Oh, geez.
And that's not even counting like the stuff that I would have to add to a tier for that pig to make it worth it. And that would probably come out to about $300. And I don't know anyone that would be willing to pay $300.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah. Well, I got
like one of a kind items,
Yeah, true.
But then you wouldn't have your Toxic Pig, so it's a tough.
Yeah, it's
dude. Here's you never know what people are willing to spend money on, especially when you find super backers. When we did our vinyl records for Heirs of Isildur versus Tales from Nocturnia, when you do records,
I'm still here. Sorry.
When you do records, the pressing plant will send you what's called 5 test pressings, and what that is depending on the number of songs and how long the album is, that determines how deep the grooves are on the record. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So it determines how deep the grooves are. So they actually, every time a record is pressed, they'll send you some samples to start so you can listen to them and make sure that they sound right, because the thinner the groove, the more pops and sound quality issues there could be. So the reason I bring this up is there are literally 5 test pressings of that record in existence. And Steph and I have one in my personal collection. Steph has one in her personal collection. And we had a guy that was like, what do you have that's really, really rare? And we're like, well, we do have some of these test pressings, and those things normally go for a lot of money. And we're like, dude, this is like $100 thing. And he's like, I want one. He's like, sign it up for me. I want one of the test pressings of your record because it's rare, because there's only 3 that would ever potentially ever see themselves in circulation. He's like, I want one. And dude, without even blinking an eye, I bought one for $100. So you never know what people are going to buy from you if there is rarity and value attached to it.
Yeah, so don't underestimate your rare items, guys, and don't grow too attached to them because I'm very attached to my toxic pig, and I don't think I could ever part with him at this point. I sleep with I sleep with him at night. You know, I call him by name.
You know,
Right.
but Ted, as like
Not
Ted
everything has to
DiBiase
be for
says,
sale.
like Ted DiBiase says, though, man, everybody's got a price. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, my youngest son, he will carry Toxic Pig around like this and be like, "Hey, Toxic Pig, look, we're at the grocery store. This is where they keep the things." And like he starts going into like this whole
Oh,
like
man, now you can't get
conversation
rid of 'em.
with exactly. And it's like, dude, I can't deny that, man. That's
Dude,
too good.
I feel like I'm going. I feel like I'm gonna be attached when I get my plushies in. That's the
Oh, yeah.
scary part. I'm gonna be like. So
Yeah. So, what has been your biggest roadblock, Kevin Davis? I know you are working on some stuff, and you've got a lot of cool ideas. I mean, we saw them. That one cover gave me nightmares, and I'm going to have probably nightmares for the rest of my life because of the big ass spider. But what have you found in your own journey to be one of the biggest roadblocks or speed bumps, should I say?
well, try not to burn out is my biggest one. Because one, I barely sleep. I don't sleep till like 6 o'clock in the morning because I'm up working on this comic. Then I have an idea for this comic. Then I have a novel. Then I have my other business where I'm like creating clothing designs. So I'm bouncing between different businesses and everything between. So my biggest thing is the burnout, and I'm just like I need to get my sleep schedule together so I don't burn myself out. And I'm big on mental health, so I'm like, I need to slow down a bit. But
Yeah.
every time I say that, I end up going faster, and because my brain goes 1,000 miles per hour every single day.
I completely understand the whole mental health thing. Like,
Yeah,
I'm very candid, very open, very like totally like a genuine individual. I had suffered from really bad from like depression and stuff like that. And just in the last month or so, I've made a really big bounce back, mental state change, like working out, exercising. I didn't get to do my push-ups today, but we're going to do them. We'll do them tomorrow. My mom came in and we were up really late last night, but yeah, nonetheless, I get what you're saying. It's hard to not to burn out, especially if you have a lot of stuff in your head that you want to put on paper or and make series. I've got like 4 or 5 series I haven't even barely like finished at all. And I've been working on the Bad Wabbit. So like, yeah, I totally get it, man. It's hard. It's hard.
like if you can see my laptop right now, I have like 200 scripts in my laptop that I'm working on.
Holy shit, man! What's
Yeah.
wrong with you?
So Kevin, did you say you haven't released a comic yet? Have you?
No, I released 3 so far.
Okay, I don't know why I thought you said you hadn't released one at the beginning of this podcast, man. My bad. I thought I heard you say that.
No, they're on my website that we show at the beginning. You can see my 3 comics and my novel and a novel I published. I published my friend's novel.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No, yes.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's a healthy thing to get to that point, though. I mean, everybody's got a lot of stories they want to tell, but like for your own health and those around you, it's better to say, what can I realistically
first
do?
3 comics.
And it's okay to have, a point in your life where you can do more and then the point where you can do less. You have to listen to yourself, You know yourself better than anybody. I mean, Greg can probably tell you, he's like me. We got 5 series floating in the air at all times, and I'm okay with it. I like that kind of chaos and going back and forth, but that doesn't work for everybody, right? That's not how they want to do it. So sometimes you got to say, finish this series or at least an arc of it, then move to this series, then move to, or I can only do 1 comic a year is fine. Don't feel like you're not creating enough because
you can never create.
It's not a race. It's not about who creates more. It's about keeping yourself healthy too.
Like
anything. If you have a mental breakdown or you're physically not well, you'll get nothing done. And then
because with me, I'm always inspired every single day. That's why I'm literally up like 5 o'clock in the morning just writing. And I also tell people I got to the point like I'm tired of all these reboots in like Hollywood. Let me just create my own stories because I'm tired of seeing the same bullshit every single day in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's recycled nonsense. I get it.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I can do something way better than that and not have to do the same thing that other person already did like 10 years ago or like a year ago. I'm just like, dude, I'm tired. I'm not finna go to the movies to see this. I can just make it better myself. uh, I was like,
for me, it was an adjustment as I got older. I went through some health changes, and I was trying to be the same as I was in my 20s, and staying up till 11 a.m. lettering, and then getting up and going to work, and then doing. And I had to be honest. I wasn't producing my best. I wasn't feeling my best. And it was time to say put some limits. On what I was doing, because I definitely have reached that burnout point. A few times in the last 15 years. So
I mean, it's not hard to reach that point when you have so many books on, that you want to put out, and you're like just trying to do them all at the same time. It's easy to get there.
Balance, for sure.
Yeah, I was like for me, I have got burned out before, and so I started finding other hobbies like working out or like put my mind on something else. So that's what's been helping me a lot more. Because like I said, my mind goes 1,000 miles per hour. So let me get off my laptop, get off the screen for a couple hours. Let me go for. I even started going walking outside when it's like not storming. And when I get back from that walk, I feel so refreshed, so at peace. And I'm like, I'm gonna take a nap. I'm like, I'll get back to those comics later. And then I'm like, then I watch a horror movie. I was like, oh shit, that's freaking cool. I'm inspired. I'm inspired again. And then like 5 story arcs in my head. Okay, I'm like, let me write this down so I don't forget. I'll come back to it later because that's not my priority. And so the ideas I get, I write them down. If they're not my priority, I keep them in my file so I know what I want to come back to.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of try to organize it. Like, this is my priority, this is my mid priority, or whatever I call it. And I'm like, I'll get to you at a later date. I'm like, I don't know the full story of you yet.
And sometimes those stories will merge. I've definitely had stories like that where 2 of them kind of, they're actually the same story. And then that works.
Exactly.
Or sometimes it's sitting on a story till you find the right co-collaborator. And that's what happened with I had that idea for years and years. And I was like, oh, finally the right person to work with at the right time,
So John, has that been something that like has been a speed bump? I mean, like, what has been your experience as far as like what's difficult to overcome in the concept of producing awesome comics?
For me, in my first venture in comics about 15 years ago, I joined up with another person's company, and we had an awesome relationship. We're still friends to this day, but we very much had different ideas on where we wanted to go with comics. I wanted to do series and stuff like I'm doing now. He was, an artist, and he worked at his own pace, and he wanted to, kind of tell his own short stories and just kind of do things when he felt like it. And we weren't on the same page. And then we started taking on other people's stories, like our other buddies. Oh, we want to see our book in print. And I love that. I would never change it. I learned so much, being a publisher and helping other people get their books out there. And that's such an amazing feeling when people tell you, oh, I was part of this anthology. It was the best, thing. And thank you so much. But I got to a point where I felt like I was putting more in than some other people. And I was taking on this extra task. And it was upsetting me that we weren't getting to our goal. They didn't really care. Nobody came to me and said, oh, John, we didn't sell 1 million copies. You're a failure. But I felt that. I felt like I wanted them to succeed. And I wanted all these books to be, huge success, and every Kickstarter to be successful. And when it didn't happen, I realized I'm taking on more than I can as a full-time father and a full-time, employed person and husband. And that was my speed bump. So it actually led me to quitting, which I regret, because I took a couple years off. And I think if I hadn't taken that break and just kind of transitioned to maybe focusing on my own stories a little bit more, maybe I wouldn't have taken that long break and things would be different. But that was a big speed bump for me. I took on too much.
Well, I mean, maybe that break was what you needed, because from what I'm looking at, I mean, you're doing pretty damn well now. I mean, maybe you needed that mental break,
maybe. And I just wish it didn't come in that where I felt that burnout, where I felt resentful and I broke off with the company. And I wish it hadn't come to that. Instead, I wish it had come out of my own terms. And I said, you know what? let me just make a shift here, which is hard to do, when you're in the moment doing these things day to day. You're just like, oh, this is just what you do. And then when you're away from it, you look back and go, oh, that was me, being burnt out on what I should, be enjoying. This is really a hobby for me. I should be enjoying it more than anything.
No, I totally get it, man. I totally understand. Matt, what has been your biggest setback? Things that you it doesn't even have to be necessarily recent, but just in general, as a indie creator, what has been some of your biggest speed bumps, things that you needed to overcome?
I would say having a difficult time, and I feel like we all will go through this, not just understanding where the industry is right at this moment that you're trying to navigate, but understanding where it's going to be, say, 6 months to a year from now. So that way you can plan on making sure that what you're doing is going to match with what the economy is, with what the industry is. I'll tell you that there was a time, and John and Greg, because you've been on Kickstarter for a little bit, you probably remember, there was a time a few years ago where even like the big dogs that are raising money right and left, basically every time they launch a campaign, they print money. They would be the ones that were saying that you wanted to release larger issues on Kickstarter. You didn't want to just be doing 24 to 32 page issues. You wanted to be doing 44 and 56 and all this, because the people wanted that bigger thing, and you were going to get that money when everybody had stimulus money after the pandemic, and people had more money than they knew what to do with, and there was less competition for the dollar. So we had some stuff planned out where we we did I Am Keto, which is an 80-page one-shot set in the Far East. And love the book, love the story. It's the backbone for Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress, that's going to launch in May. But when we started it, the economy was one way. By the time we got to the end, the economy had completely shifted. Kickstarter had completely shifted to where even those people were saying Kickstarter now is about single issues, anthologies, and trades of these smaller issues, because people only have a certain amount of money to spend on specific campaigns. So if you've just invested $10,000 in the art and the production on a book, you're probably not going to make that much money back on the campaign. So basically, when we did Keto, we lost our asses on Kickstarter because the Kickstarter base was not designed to support an 80-page all original graphic novel at that point. So we had to, at that point, completely transition what we were doing. We still are finishing the Heirs arc with larger books, but everything that we've got planned with Tatsumi and other things is let's get back to smaller issues and collected trades like we're doing with Misfits to at least meet where the economy is right now. So that's been the biggest thing, is understanding where shows are, because we all know that shows are far more expensive now. I mean, it used to be, you got to get to Seattle, you got to get to C2E2, you got to get to New York. How many of us make money at those shows?
Exactly.
So now it's like, give me a freaking library signing any day. I'll take a library signing, because you know what? People go to libraries to get books.
How many of us make enough money to just be able to hop on a plane and go with all of our shit to a show? Like I don't.
Right. The last 15 years I've been doing this, the economy of comics is so difficult, and it's not the be all and end all for me. Again, this is what I do full time, but I know for a lot of people it is, and to put the books out, the funds gotta come in. We got to pay our teams and print the books, and it's such a challenge. I can't handle the week to week, and then like you said, Matt, you have to predict 6 months into the future, a year into the future. It's really
insane, man. And like I always say it, and I joke about it, but it's really the facts, man. I do this with the change I find in my couch cushions. It's like I do this on like such a small budget. I'm disabled, and I get a very meager disability check every month, and I've got kids, I've got rent, I've got bills. It's very hard to do this on pennies. So I think that's been my biggest challenge, is trying to budget budgeting, cost versus quality and quantity, being able to put them out on a regular basis. Like I said, like the first book came out and then the second book came out like a year later. And to be able to hold on to those fans and keep them interested that long between issues is very hard because so many people come out with so much cooler stuff, I guess, like in between, and you kind of like they gravitate away. So you got to keep them interested. Like, hey, where you going? I promise it's coming. I swear. And they're like, but so-and-so's already got it. And it's like, well, trust me, stick around. So it's hard, man. It's hard. But I think the fact that this Kickstarter we're doing right now is books 4 and 5. Or 3 and 4. The next one's going to be 5, and like I said, we're going to do a trade, books 1 through 5, and I think it's going to be really awesome. That if you haven't been a fan or are just coming into it, you're going to get the whole spiel. Yeah.
And obviously, I don't know your personal circumstance. Obviously, you got to take care of you and your own. But that trade is a big step. So if you can kind of limp your way to that, that's been a huge boost for us. And that first trade will be huge. So I'm looking forward to that from Bad Wabbit.
We're definitely limping there, but we're gonna get there. So I'm gonna go back around the table and let everybody. I'm gonna show everybody's little campaign real quick, and with their where they can find you and all that stuff, and then we'll get out of here. It's been an hour. My mother's in town, so I gotta entertain some. I gotta entertain. What have you been doing in there for an hour? Well, I could explain it to you, but I don't think you'll understand.
There's some nerds.
So let's go, Greg. Let's talk about you and your campaign that's coming up real quick. Just where can people find you?
The corner. No.
I feel you, man.
Yeah, Sierra Nova Comics on Instagram, SierraNovaComics.com, Twitter. If you want to go on Twitter, you don't have to. There's Blue Sky, YouTube, basically anywhere that's social media, Facebook. Night Watch is launching on April 2nd, my birthday. It's a vigilante character based off of me. His name is Kenny Quinn. He's a retired MMA fighter in Fighters Haven, and he decides to give up the belt to protect the streets of Sear City. And while doing that, he's looking for his best friend's killer. So, yeah.
Well, the similarities are uncanny.
I know, right? Both jacked.
Like a mirror. I thought that was you on the right.
All right, so we got Night Watch. Guys, go check out Greg's campaign. Sign up to be notified upon its launch. I think it's going to be really good. Like I said, it's drawn by Mr. Fishley, and if you guys want to go check out some of his work, go check it out too. Let's see, we got Kevin Davis. I'm going to pull up your website real quick. Stupid laptop. All right, there you go. Things lagging. So Kevin's Side Entertainment. You guys go check it out. It's kevinside.com. And you have the issues you've already released on here.
Yep.
Awesome.
Dude, I freaking love your logo, man. I know they talked about that earlier, but I just want to say I'm a big logo guy, and I love that wolf head like that, dude. That's freaking awesome, man.
It is.
Yeah, thank you so much. I made it a wolf. I made it a wolf because my family called me the wolf of the family because I'm the one that's always hot. I'm never cold. I have my fans on year round, even in winter. So I'm like, and plus, I like how wolves have a pack. So I'm a family guy. So I'm like, I want my company to a family, or like a family of artists working together, bring some awesome creations. So that's what inspired me with the wolf logo. Yeah.
I think it looks great, man.
So
And-
so can they find you just at Kevin's side, or is there like you have a
Yeah.
Facebook or anything like that?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook at I am Kevin Davis CEO. Instagram is Kevinside at Kevinside Entertainment, and I am Kevin Davis Official.
Awesome.
And you also YouTube, you can Kevinside. So yeah. So yeah.
All right, guys, go check out Kevin, man. He's an awesome creator, and he's going to be coming up quick. I guarantee it. It's going to be awesome. Matt, let's talk. Let's. Where can people find you?
All right, so I've actually put a couple of links for me in the chat if you want as well. So right now we are focused on getting Misfits Clubhouse, all the shenanigans so far out because of the fine gentlemen on this panel and also some other stuff that's happened today. We are less than $250-ish or so away from minimum funding, which is going to be great because we've got a absolute boatload of fun stretch goals and incentives that are going to make this campaign have fun all the way through the end. What we want to do is we want you guys to make it difficult on us. Let's keep on hitting those levels quick enough to where we have to figure out some more stretch goals and incentives, but we've probably got 5 or 6 fun ones that are already coming up. If you go to linktree.com/InSymmetry Creations, that's where you can see everything that Steph and I do, from all the different titles we have, Heirs of a Sealer, Tales from Nocturnia, I Am Keto, to the metal albums we have, the music videos. Steph also writes a lot of freelance articles for things like Creepy Kingdom, Fangoria. She has horror movie reviews and horror and geek culture articles. She's almost to 100 of those. Actually, I totally messed up that URL. That one there should say Tatsumi, 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 the Serpent Mistress. That's going to be our campaign in late May. We are absolutely stoked about that campaign. We're already working on issue 2 for that. If you go up there and give that a follow, that would be super awesome. And John Westhoff will give you a virtual high five if you do that.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guarantee void in Tennessee.
I'm officially a misfit because I backed.
I love it, man. I love it. You are officially going to be a member of the Clubhouse crew, baby.
Oh yeah.
All right. I'm
a full-time nerd.
I love it.
I'm a full-time turd, but you know. Potato. So is that the correct one right there, Matt?
Yes, Tatsumi, TSM Tatsumi, the Serpent Mistress. So that one actually is right. So Tatsumi is the last surviving member of a fallen empire, and she is hell-bent on retribution and revenge. We see this Far East Onobageshi, which is a female warrior that ends up finding herself in a wild pirate adventure, and we have a fun way to tell her story. We're really stoked about that.
Cool. Well, I'm excited.
I just love the name, by the way.
Yeah, it's a good
I
one.
appreciate that. And there's actually, the name being the Serpent Mistress, that's not just 2 words that we just kind of pulled out of the air and said, let's see if it works. There's actually an explanation and a reason for why she's called that in the story that you're going to find out very much so why that name actually is her name.
Sweet. Okay.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Okay. Hell yeah.
All right, John Westhoff. Let's talk about it. Where can we find you online?
Well, best is the link tree right below my chin here, Part-Time Comics with an X. Then you can choose to engage with us. I am incessantly on all the social medias all the time. We are Part-Time Comics, again with an X at the end, on all the social medias. That's the best way to engage with us. Then you can join our mailing list there if that's what you want. You can follow us on social media. Only follow our campaigns if you don't want to listen to me make bad jokes all day on the internet. You choose.
Why would anybody want to miss that?
Unlike Greg, I post more than twice a year on Blue Sky. I am on Twitter.
I don't even do that.
I have it.
But yeah, as you see there, we have 5 books coming out this year. This is our second.
Wow.
Each is as important as the next because they keep the ball rolling up the hill to get to the next one. So we have 2 issues of Drumsticks of Doom, LCS, the final issue of Child Possession Services, and our horror heist comic final heist in September.
Awesome.
Oh, my birthday month. I'm definitely backing.
And we appreciate all the support. If you can't back, we understand how things are now too. The shares really do help. I feel like now more than ever, I get less retweets, less Facebook shares, and it's just such a simple and easy way to help a small business. Just click that button. It gets out to way more people than we can on our own, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that coming into this new era of comic books, man, I think it's the indie that's going to carry it over, man. Because I mean, I see so many awesome projects from so many indie creators that, you know, if I was to say that, oh, those are mainstream, you know, people overlook that kind of stuff now, man. And it's like Bad Wabbit, for example, not to put myself out there, you know, Drumsticks of Doom, Isildur, you know, Heirs of Isildur, stuff like that. That's so interesting. And people don't know anything about them. And I think that it's very important to do shows like this so that we can put that out there, slap it in people's faces like a big fat sticker and be like, read this shit. It's fucking good, man. You guys are missing out on the whole point of indie creations, you know? And I want to do that. And that's what I want to do with the shows. I want to like bring new characters in. I want to bring old school guys from the creator indie creations, and I want to slap it in people's faces and be like, look, dude, you guys are missing out on some really cool stuff. Okay, you got your Batman, okay, you got your Daredevil, but you know, do you have Drumsticks of Doom? Do you have, you know, but I'm saying, you know, do you have your Mittens? Do you even know about Mittens, man?
Oh, everybody knows. It's the most popular comic in the world,
right? Let's put it out there, man. Let's get everybody on board.
And you know, it's crazy. I actually don't own any mainstream comics. All my comics are independent.
Same here. I mean, the comics that are mainstream that I have were given to me. I haven't personally went and bought any mainstream comics. I buy indie comics. Those are what I spend my money on. But if somebody
10 years ago when my youngest, my daughter and I, we would go to like the little comic book shows and they have like all their long boxes. Our thing was you can go to the 50-cent and dollar boxes, and you can pick out stuff, but you could only pick out stuff that wasn't Marvel or DC. You had to go try and find titles that were just buried in there because we wanted to find those hidden gems. Because I was like, listen, somebody spent time and money and a story, and they worked their butts off, and now they're relegated to the 50-cent box in the back corner of a comic book show. We're like, let's go see if we can unearth some gems or go find out why these things are in the 50-cent box. You know, was there a fatal flaw in the design of the book that put it there? So that was always our thing, was find those things and see if we can find some stories that were cool back in those things. Forget the big two.
That's cool. I know my badge of honor in comics was when I found my own comic in a dollar box. I was like, yes, I've made it.
I made it to the dollar box. No.
Did you buy that one for $1 and put it back on your site?
I did not. I should have.
I've done that before where like there was an anthology that we were in that we lost. We didn't have any copies of. Our stuff was in and the store had a copy or they were selling it for like super cheap. And we're like, dude, that's like cheaper than we would have got it from the publishers. Right. Let's get it, put it back on our table. Let's go.
Heck yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. But that's why I love indie comics, just because I know what it takes to make indie comics. And there's so much behind the scenes that people don't talk about. I mean, all the struggles, just, you know, we are normal people. We are people, you know, and we all have some shit, you know, normal. It's relative, but
like, what is normal anyway? What is
but
normal anyway?
We all have shit we're going through, man, and to overcome those personal struggles, to be able to do something and pursue something that you love so much, I think that is a testament to our dedication to the craft and the genre. And I think that it needs to be put out there more. So I'm going to go into my little Bad Wabbit spiel one last time before we take off. I'm pretty sure you guys got so many more important things to do than to sit here and listen to me. So you guys, you can find me at dmwcomics.com, or you can go to Facebook and look at DMW Comics. We have Bad Wabbit live right now, books 1 through 4. And we are a little over halfway pledged. We're funded. I think it's been, and we got 19 days to go. So I'm very confident about this one. My last one didn't fund, but that I completely take responsibility for that, because we had just moved up here from Texas to Montana.
Wow.
We were going through a lot of stuff personally, and I just didn't promote the last one as much as I have been this one. So I wanted to make sure, like, if I was going to do another Kickstarter, I'm going to do 100% promotion. I'm going to tell. I was called spammy the other day, rightfully so. But that's the point. Is I want to get it out here. I want to make sure that everybody knows about it and everybody sees it and everybody gets on board. So it's it's going to be there. It's not going to be hard to find. And I'm going to put it in your face, So I hope everybody.
I feel guilt about being spammy. That's kind of what we're here.
Yeah.
Especially when we're live.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't want to see your spam, they've got to disengage in that way. Like, people complain about the Kickstarter messages, and I'm like, there's a way to unfollow if you don't want to hear them. But I kind of, this is part of the gig. I got to get the word out. So
exactly.
As long as you're not being one message a minute or something like that.
Well, it's and that's how I feel. It's like, what I'm about, what I'm doing, I'm pursuing it with 100% intent. And so if you don't want to see Bad Wabbit promotion every day, then you don't have to follow me. It's you can leave, but just know if you stick around, you're going to get some Bad Wabbit promotions in your feed quite often. And I hope that each one is at least a little different than the last. But with that said, I think everybody on here is amazing. I am, like I said, I consider myself one of the noobs. And I want to say that I admire every single person on this panel. And I think you guys, well, I think you guys are doing something great, man. And I really appreciate the whole indie scene and everybody that engages with it and is invested in it. And the fact that some of us only buy indie, that's just a testament in itself, man. Indie is the way to go if you are like sleeping. If you've been under a rock, go. I'm gonna come kick that shit over, and we're gonna put indie shit in your face.
Like literally with me, mainstream, I read the Wikipedia. Independent, I buy the full books. that's literally how I am. I'm like mainstream, I read the Wikipedia. Independent, I'm buying the books.
I catch up on my mainstream through various YouTube shorts and maybe some Wikipedia, but I definitely am an indie for life, man. So everybody, I appreciate you guys being here. From Greg Moquin, Kevin Davis, John Westhoff, and Matt Knowles, and myself, Anthony Castro, I would like to thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you back on the next episode of Castro's Comic Corner. And from all of us, good luck, God bless, and goodbye.